Hello everybody and welcome to the round 22 AFL tips and predictions video. I'm your host Matt Danger here, joined by lovely as always Uncle. How are you?
Good, thanks. How you going?
We're doing great this week. It's going to be a quick week, I think. Thor has just popped in for the intro of the video. If you do enjoy, if you feel like it, make sure to give us a subscribe, a like, and a comment below. It really does help us out. We appreciate all the love and support you guys give.
I just love comments. I love interacting with people, so send your comments.
You get replies from both of us as well, so
Yeah.
Uncle's all about that. I think we should start off this week by just quickly going through last week's tips. It was 117 to 119. I had back-to-back pretty good weeks. Got 8 out of 9, 7 out of 9 for you because you decided to try and spice things up and go Carlton, which looked really good in the first half. Looked really good in the first half, but unfortunately, when you let a team score about 70 points and only score 18 yourself in a half of footy, you generally don't tend to win those kind of games. So, yeah.
Carlton did the Carlton thing, and Fremantle did the Fremantle thing in the last quarter.
Yeah, it was pretty. Yeah, that's pretty much the whole story. And we both got Brisbane wrong. So I got 8 for the week, bringing me up to 125. You got 7, bringing you up to 126. So there's now only one tip between us. We'll see how things shake up after this week. Let's see if you try and spice things up again. But before we go on to our tips for this week, I'd like to just bring up the ladder predictor as usual. Brisbane back into the top 2 with a win over Collingwood brings points a lot closer together. We see a nice grouping. There's just one game between 1st and 5th at the moment. So Collingwood could, if Adelaide are able to get up against them, say next week, I think it just comes down to percentage between Collingwood and Gold Coast. So we could actually see Collingwood miss the top 4, which is a bit odd. But yeah, still Hawthorn in 9th though. They're the unlucky team at the moment, missing out. They need a win against either Collingwood this weekend or against Brisbane at the Gabba. I think it's going to be quite tough, or hope that either Giants or Fremantle drop a game, I think. So
Amazing, really, that you've got Hawthorn 9th with 14 wins. I mean, if you had said at the start of the year a team with 14 wins was not going to play finals, you would have been laughed out of court. So quite amazing. In fact, my predictor, I've got Hawthorn winning this weekend. Obviously, you've got Hawthorn losing this weekend, which changes things immensely.
Yeah.
Which means the team missing out has actually got 15 wins, 60 points. Quite amazing if that comes to pass.
Yeah. Considering that we're still playing 23 games, and I'm pretty sure Gather Round started 2 years ago. I'm pretty sure in 2023. And in 2023, I think Sydney made finals with 13 wins, I think. Or it was 12. I think Adelaide finished on 12, and Sydney finished on 12 and a half or 13. So it's a massive difference in a couple of years. It's a big drop off between your top 9 and everyone else, it seems, this year. But we go on to this week's tips. Start off with Hawthorn versus Collingwood Thursday night, back-to-back good hopefully primetime games. We had a good one this past Friday night. Now we get a good one on Thursday night, hopefully. I'm just going to go with the 2 strong Collingwood. I'm going to go with Collingwood, but probably only just. I thought Hawthorn were really good this past week in a really weird game. Just seemed like there was a 5 or 6 goal wind in a game that had 0 wind at all. So
really odd, wasn't it?
It was so
really exciting, mate.
Yeah. It was for myself and Rav. It was polar opposites. It wasn't like we were both sitting quiet and we're like, oh god, it's a close game. It was either one of us was really happy and really sad, and it just flipped. That's what it did every single quarter. So I'm gonna go Collingwood though. I think they will be just too strong, I think.
Yeah, well, I'll be going Hawthorn, not only on the back of being a Hawthorn supporter, and this is their game. I penciled this in about 3 weeks ago that I didn't think we'd beat Adelaide. I don't think we'll beat Brisbane. It's the Collingwood game that'll mean we play finals or not. So I'm sort of tipping them hope and tipping them because I think they'll win. Head-to-head, they've got a 49-24 record. That's since 1990. The last 10 at 6-4 Hawthorn, and the last 5 the MCG is 3-2 Hawthorn. So recent records, suggests that Hawthorn have got the wood over the Pies. I know that to be the case because my dad's a Collingwood supporter, and we used to have lotto tickets on these results, and he stopped doing it about 10 years ago because I kept winning lotto tickets. So I know that Hawthorn have a good record against Collingwood. So last time, of course, Collingwood won by 51 points at the MCG. But as you said, Hawthorn were quite good against Adelaide. I thought they've been quite good now for 3 or 4 weeks. It'd be interesting if they keep their 4 forward set up going into the game. Will Day is a huge loss for Hawthorn, so it'd be interesting to see what they bring in for him. But I'll stick with my guns and go the Hawks.
Yeah, I think we'll be seeing a lot stronger Hawthorn play over the next 3 weeks or so because they need to win. It's basically do or die for them, I think, over the next 3 weeks. So we could be seeing a lot stronger. I just feel like Collingwood's losses haven't been that bad in a way. Like you're coming up against a top 2 side in Brisbane. You lost against Freo when you were resting players. Same as with Gold Coast. So I feel like there's a little asterisk on all their losses so far this year, over the last month or so anyway. Next up, we've got Thursday night footy. We got Geelong versus Essendon. Look, Geelong, those odds are for a reason. Geelong actually could be looking this week at having no one on their injury list. Which is unbelievable when you have a look at Essendon's injury list, and it's about a full team's worth. So, Jeremy Cameron to probably beat Essendon. That's going to be my prediction, is Jeremy Cameron will beat Essendon on his own. Yep. Geelong will have another big percentage booster, which they're going to need. I think they could probably nab a home final if they get, or at least solidify a top 4 with a nice percentage boosting win, I think. So, yeah, got to go Geelong.
Yeah, I think the next few games, actually the rest of the round is going to be quite quick, isn't it? Not many games to speak of for the rest of the games. I'll quickly go through some stats then. Head-to-head, Geelong winning that 42-25, 8-2 last 10, and a 4-1 record at the venue. Interestingly, Essendon don't play at Cardinia Park. I've done the last 5 games at the venue stats, which is 4-1 Geelong at Cardinia. No surprise. That one win from Essendon was in 1990.
Okay.
Which is the last time they've beaten Geelong at Cardinia Park in 1990. So
35 years.
35 years, and they've only played 4 times in that period as well. Generally, they play at the MCG. It's one of Geelong's MCG games is against Essendon. So I suppose because Essendon are shit, that Geelong decided they'll go back to Cardinia Park and play them. So that's interesting. But last time, of course, Geelong won by 90-odd points. I would expect something similar this time around.
Yeah. To kick off our Saturday games, though, we've got Richmond versus St Kilda. St Kilda should probably... I thought they had a weird win over this past weekend. I thought a nice come-from-behind win against Melbourne would have really lit themselves up, and against North Melbourne it was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. So St Kilda are back to being hard to tip. You never know what's going to go on with them, but they should still beat a depleted Richmond side. So going to go with them, and Nas will probably tear it up again and add another 100k onto his future contract.
Yeah, probably right. St Kilda for me, it's hard to pick Richmond again this year. The last 3 games, they won't win any. The last 10, it's interesting, the last 10 games includes when Richmond were good. This is from 2017, and St Kilda won at 7-3 head-to-head. So that's another team that they enjoy playing against, even when Richmond were at their best. Richmond aren't at their best or at their worst. So St Kilda should win this one.
Next up in the afternoon, we've got Brisbane versus Sydney, 4:15 at the Gabba. I just assumed that Brisbane's going to win this, especially after last week's performance. I had question marks over the rest of their year. Had they lost to Collingwood, it would have probably struck maybe a little bit of doubt into their team coming off a loss. And then if Sydney's been playing good footy, so they do have a chance here, but going to lock in with Brisbane, but with the news of Lachie Neale no longer playing home and away for the rest of the year without injured. So could open things up, but I don't think he's going to be that big of a loss that they start losing against Sydney at the Gabba.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I hadn't heard that news, but I don't know if Lockie Neal's been as dominant as he has been the last few years. They haven't relied on him as much. McCluggage seems to be the man now that has taken over that role. So if McCluggage was out for the rest of the year, that might be a different story for mine. But Neal is a very good player still, but I think they can cover him. Yeah, the last week was interesting, wasn't it? Do you, with your prediction, do you change tips going forward, looking at the results of last weekend?
Generally, I'll go through the rest of the round depending on, oh shit, Brisbane's hit really good form or whatever.
Make
I'll switch it
adjustments.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, because I can't see them losing the rest of the year. So, and that includes Fremantle in Fremantle, I think. So,
Yeah.
I don't know how you pick that game, but
I've got Brisbane just winning that, I think.
Yeah, I think Brisbane will win that game. So, Brisbane will win this.
On to our terrible Saturday night games. We've got Carlton versus Gold Coast Game 1 at Marvel Stadium. We briefly touched on this. Carlton were very, very good in the first half, but that's been the story of the year for them. So, but then terrible in the second half. So, I expect more or less of the same. I don't think, we haven't seen the teams, but I don't think someone like Gold Coast would be having any issues with them like Freo has done anyway. Freo had issues in the first half but dominated the second half. So I think more or less it'll go the same. We'll see a fight early on, but the longer the game goes, the more Carlton I think it'll go. So go.
When teams are down, like Carlton have had injuries, when they travel interstate, which is why I picked them last week. They tend to lift a bit, plays a team, it's really good, and you could see that in the first three quarters. They were quite decent. Back at home, they looked really average for a lot of parts this year. They'll start the game well, like they've done, but I think this will be over at halftime. Gold Coast should win this pretty easily.
Yeah, I think Gold Coast want to snatch up a home final. This is a non-negotiable for them. And on at the same time, but slightly a little bit later at 8:10 Adelaide Oval, we've got Port Adelaide versus Fremantle. Port, I thought they started off competitive against Geelong this past. Going into quarter time, scores were even. I thought, okay, we're going to get an interesting game here. Over the course of the next two quarters, though, I think they gave up like 80 odd points or something like that. So,
for cliff, didn't they?
Yeah, and the last quarter was more or less the same. So, Fremantle, if they're serious about playing finals, this is a non-negotiable for them as well. I think if they somehow end up losing this game, they will miss finals. So, going to lock in Fremantle for the sake of they need to win it.
Do you know Connor Rozee if he was a 1 week or if he's done for the year?
No idea. But if he missed last week due to illness, not injury. So,
right.
I assume that he'll be back this week.
So Rozee back in. Butters was tagged heavily last week, and because there was no one else in the midfield, really, it was a non-entity. And Travis Boakes just announced his retirement, so there aren't too many games left for Port Adelaide at home to give him farewell. They'll look at this game as being winnable.
Yep.
Fremantle have been winning, but they haven't really looked overly impressive to me. Winning these games. Hawthorn probably should have beaten them. Carlton probably should have beaten them. They could easily be sitting 10th at the moment. They've got a lot of heart. I'll give them credit for that. But I'm going to go Port Adelaide for this one. They have a 6-4 last 10 record. And interestingly, 5-0 record at home. That goes back to 2017. So not a happy hunting ground for Fremantle anyway.
No.
I've just got a feeling Port will lift with all these factors. One last effort for the year for Travis Boak and stuff. And I'll go for Port.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think their last two games, they've got Freo and Gold Coast, I think, as their last two. So they've got two teams that are hunting for a final spot. So you're going to get some good quality teams against you. So I think this is probably their best bet at getting a win for Travis Boak for the rest of the year. I don't think that I think this will be easier than Gold Coast, I think.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah. And what we tend to find with teams that aren't playing finals, like a lot of these teams are, once they get headed by a team that is playing finals, once they get 3, 4, 5 goals down, they sort of drop the bundle quite quickly. So if Port Adelaide can remain in the contest, they'll fight the game out. But if they get headed, they'll drop off pretty
Like,
quickly,
oh,
I think.
we'll try again next week or something for a win for
Yeah.
Blokey. Sunday games now. We've got Giants versus North Melbourne. Giants looking to bounce back off what is an embarrassment of a display
horrible.
Thursday night. It was probably up there with hype-wise game of the round. It was probably going to be a fantastic game, and then GWS just didn't show up at all. And for a team that's wanting to play finals, losing to another team that you're competing with by 90 points is probably not the right way to go about it. I expect big differences this week, and especially against North Melbourne. I think it's kind of one of those weeks where you can go, all right, let's reset, let's just play some good footy and go about the rest of the year, because they should walk over North Melbourne, I think.
Yeah, GWS, not much to say really. North do have a good head-to-head record, 7-6, but they won their first 4 games, I think. In fact, last game they played, GWS won by 40 odd points. It was last year, but it was the first time GWS have won at home against North Melbourne ever. So this will be another home game. So they'll probably be looking to go back to back at home.
Yep.
But they should do. They should beat North Melbourne. Probably of the bottom 3 or 4 sides, North look better. They look better than the Eagles or Richmond in the run home. But I can't see them beating the Giants.
No. Sort of after that, we've got Melbourne versus Bulldogs at the MCG. It could be a danger game for the Bulldogs here, knowing that there's going to be a new coach at the helm for Melbourne. Was nice to see Simon go off on a good win, though. Thank you, thank you. I wouldn't be often that teams win by 80, 90 points and then get sacked during the week.
He was sacked last week.
It was funny in the press conference. They asked that did the St Kilda game have anything to do with the decision, and the CEO, I think he said no.
Great.
Yeah, he said no, and then Goodwin goes, bloody Messiah. So I thought that was quite good. It looks like he's taking in good strides. But new coach at the helm, teams have a tendency to stand up for an interim coach or new coach in the first game. But in saying that, I don't know many teams that have had their 2-star forwards kick 5+ goals each in consecutive weeks. So Bulldogs forward line is fucking cracking. So they should win by 10+ goals again, but we'll see what kind of Melbourne shows up.
Yeah, Bulldogs for me. With my Hawthorn hat on, Bulldogs need to win. I think they need to win the last 3. So if they drop, I think any of the last 4 or 5 teams, if they drop 2 games, they're dead. Bulldogs got a tough final game, so if they drop this one, then they've got a really, really tough. They got a play-in game, last game of the year, to make finals. So they wouldn't want to drop it. They've been in superb form the last month, as you say. The forward line looks imposing.
Yeah.
The last 5 at Marvel have gone Melbourne's way, 4-1. So they tend to match up well at Marvel. Oh, it's at the G, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry about it then.
No, maybe I'm sorry. I mean the G. 4-1 at the G, yeah.
Okay.
So it is 4-1 at the G. That goes back to 2018, that record. So Melbourne Bulldogs maybe away from home might be vulnerable, but yeah, you think the wide open space of the MCG will suit their big forwards. So I'll be going to Bulldogs.
Yeah, plenty of spaces for Sam Darcy to run into. So
But I'll be barracking for Melbourne.
Won't be the only one. Final game of the round, we've got first v last. It's kind of weird seeing first next to Adelaide's name. I'm not used to it yet. Locking in Adelaide for obvious reasons, but apparently this week is going to be the goodbye game for McGovern and Dom Sheed. So I don't know. I feel like we could get an energetic Weagles in the first quarter. Trying to play for them, we'll see how it goes. But Adelaide, stats wise, they're the best first quarter team in the comp, best second quarter team in the comp. And I believe they're now second in last quarters as well. So they're very. It's going to be pretty hard, I think, for West Coast to shut them down in any quarter. Really, Adelaide should bomb it, and I think that they need to win big because of how much Geelong are doing. They've been getting monster scores. They've got an easy run home. We could be seeing them nab third place away from Adelaide. We could be seeing them drop down to fourth, which would probably... I don't know who you'd want to verse out of Brisbane, Collingwood, week one of the finals anyway, but it seems to be a bad...
You're at home, so shouldn't matter. Hopefully.
well, that's if we finish top two, you know. But if Adelaide finish third or fourth, I don't know who's worse to get, Brisbane at the Gabba or Collingwood at the G. So I don't know.
Yeah, Adelaide, obviously, it's supposed to be a dryish day on Sunday, so that's probably suits Adelaide as well. If it's a really wet day, then it might have brought the Eagles, might have only lost by 8 goals instead of 18. So I think it'll be a bit of a hiding. Adelaide have won their last, there's a 6-4 record last 10, but they've won the last 6. So I would expect that to continue to be a 7-0 run for next year.
It's kind of funny because 3 out of the last 4 years, Adelaide have travelled to West Coast late in the season, the last couple games, and they've played a goodbye game for someone.
Is that right?
Yeah, it was. So it's Sheed. There was Dom Sheed 2 years ago, I think it was, or Sheed this year. Sorry, and it was Josh Kennedy, three or 4 years ago, and then the one after that was someone was Nat Nui's, and there was a couple others that retired at the same time as Nat Nui. So Crows are just playing goodbye games and then thumping West Coast. So it's a bit of becoming
Gaff.
a bit of a I think it was Gaff and Nat Nui, and it's becoming a bit of a tradition to have a goodbye game and lose in front of Adelaide. But we'll see how it goes this weekend.
I should do it again.
Well, there you have it, everybody. We appreciate you guys for hanging out this week and listening to us rabble on about our tips and predictions. But if you want to join us for live reactions as well, we do watch the footy on Thursday and Friday nights, so you're more than welcome to come in, chat with us, or just listen to us as we chat shit about the footy for whilst it's on. So feel free to come in then. There won't be a stream Saturday anyway, thank God, because those games look shit. But I will be streaming the Adelaide game, so we might have a look at doing more than one game on Sunday. We'll see though. But until then, look after yourselves, and we'll see you guys later.
See you later.